You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Team every day on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. I am Pete Fox. Thank you for joining me here on the Dodger Postcast. We come on after almost every game and break it down for you. You can hear us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, and you can watch us on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I'm Pete Fox, covering sports in LA for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio dating back to 2007. Dodgers get out of Chicago in a hurry, dropping 2 of 3. Wasn't their best offensive performance. I know the season is early, but that weather did them no favors, and they just couldn't find any sort of rhythm. They hit 1 home run, Shohei Ohtani, in game 2 of the series, the only win they got, and 3 extra base hits versus the Cubs. So they were dying to break out today in a 4-2 win. They ultimately did. They grabbed the early 1-0 advantage and then fell behind 2-1 for a few innings. But then in the 6th inning, Will Smith single to right, Ohtani scores, Freeman to second, and then in the 7th, James Outman breaks out with his first home run of the season, a 353-foot bomb. And then Ohtani goes oppo. Wasn't quite a bomb. It just kind of squeaked over the fence, 362 feet for his 3rd home run of the season, and he is absolutely rolling. This is a surprising stat for you about Shohei Ohtani. His 5th consecutive multi-hit game, something he's never done in his career. 5 consecutive games with more than 1 hit. Surprising to hear, right? It's one of those things you would think with all of the records that Shohei Ohtani breaks or at least matches, only things that Babe Ruth has done before. It's surprising when there's one that he has not done. So 5 games with 2 or more hits. And he's 3 of 5 on the day, 2 runs scored, 1 RBI, the home run, only struck out 1 time, looking really good. So he's definitely got it going. I am frustrated that I did not put him in my prize picks, as today's show is in fact brought to you by Prize Picks. The easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code all lowercase Locked On MLB for your first deposit match up to $100. I was really thinking, yes, Ohtani's in a groove. He's going to keep it rolling. I'm going to put him on my prize picks. I went with Freddie Freeman, which was fine. Freddie Freeman got the number was 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. So he got there no problem. RBI on a sac fly in the 1st, and then he had 2 hits. So he got over his number, no problem. I had to pair it with another one, as you know, and I put it with Ronald Acuna Jr., who is obviously a stud and hits the crap out of the ball. But the thing they were kind of pushing me towards, if you will, was Ronald Acuna to strike out more than 1 time. I'm sorry, 1 time, more than no times. And he's struck out 2 times for like the last 5 games. I was like, that's feeling pretty good. So as of now, the top of the 8th, Mets leading the Braves 8-5, and Ronald Acuna Jr. Has not struck out yet. Give it. So I really need that. That would be helpful. Dodgers, though, with a 4-2 win, get back on track in Minnesota. My problem with today's game right out of the gate, I don't have a lot of problems with what the Dodgers did. I think the Dodgers were fantastic. That was a perfect game. 215, 220. What was the time of that game? Blowing by. I'm like, this game's already over. I couldn't believe it. I looked up, it was like the 6th inning, and they had only played for like an hour. So just cruising by. Joe made the joke that the Dodgers and Twins were in a hurry to get out of there to go watch the NCAA championship game, which is quite the dandy. I mean, it appears to be neck and neck, tied back and forth, very, very even. 2 number 1 seeds as Purdue is taking on UConn. So that is worth checking out as well. But tonight just cruised by. The Dodgers got, as I said, got off to that 1-0 lead, then fell behind 2-1, on a home run from Manny Margot, former Padre, former Ray. He's been in the league for 8 years. I just blown away when I heard that. But yeah, he hit that ball pretty hard to right field, and Paxton looked good. He was dealing. I didn't see many problems from him. That ball that Paxton threw over the plate to Manny Margot was a cutter that just didn't do much. And, Margot took advantage of it. So that feels good for him. But the fact was that it kind of was, you started to think, was Paxton's, kind of falling apart a little bit? Was he getting a little shaky, and got right back on track and locked it in and went 6 innings, giving up just those 2 runs on 3 hits. Ober also giving up that 1 run early on the sac fly from Freddie Freeman, went 5. Second he comes out, the Dodgers light him up, or light it up rather. Okert gave up the game tying run, and then Jackson came in and gave up 2 more, the home runs to Ohtani and Outman. And I think if I'm a Twins fan, I'm going, why did you take Ober out? This is one of my big problems with baseball today. The analytics. Oh, well, he's thrown 68 pitches. Really? He can't throw 80? It's just ridiculous. He was dealing. I mean, he had figured it out. He got it on track. His breaking ball, his cutter was pretty wicked, and the Dodgers were having trouble with it. Second he comes out of the game, they tie the game and grab the lead, game over. So I don't know. It worked out good for the Dodgers, and that's cool. I appreciate that. And I feel like Paxton had a solid outing. His breaking stuff was very good. Aside from that one cutter, really. I mean, I guess you would say, if you were talking to him in the clubhouse after the game, did you just make one mistake? He'd probably say, yeah, I made one mistake. And the rest of the day was just spot on. The fastball at times was a little shaky, but it didn't hurt him. Like you got up in the zone and they took advantage of it a few times, hitting deep balls. I wouldn't really say taking advantage of it. They squared up a few that were deep balls, but ultimately outs. So you can't really criticize anything he did aside from that one cutter. Anyway, back to my problem with this game. I'm going to tell you right after the break, because I started rambling. I got off track. I apologize. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Dodgers win it 4-2, taking game 1 over the Twins in Target Field, or at Target Field, as they have game 4 of this road trip in the books, and they are now 2-2 on this road trip. We'll come back and I'll tell you what really ticked me off about this game after the break. All right, as I said, today's show brought to you by Prize Picks. I told you about my prize pick, hoping that Ronald Acuna Jr. will strike out here so I can get a win. But if not, it's okay. I've been doing fairly well and feeling pretty good about things and having a lot of fun with it. With spring training over and baseball season officially underway, don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond. And there's so many different ways to do it. As I said, runs, at-bats, fantasy score, strikeouts, pitchers with strikeouts. How many innings will they go? There's just a myriad of different ways to get your prize pick going. And if you have a favorite player that you feel comfortable and confident that you know what his next performance is going to be like, what sort of streak he's on, they will be able to present that to you. You can find it there and put it into your pick. Whether it's, as I said, strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs, you just take your pick and make your entry today. Get in on the playoff action with the NBA, which is under a week away. Next Sunday, the final regular season game, and then we get into the playoffs. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from baseball, basketball, League of Legends, and everything in between. As I've mentioned, I bet on tennis a lot. I have a Prize Picks working right now. You bet anywhere from 2 to 6 players, and the more you bet, the more you can win. The odds go up. They have demons and goblins. With demons, the odds are a little bit higher, and with goblins, they're a little bit lower. So it makes it a little bit easier to win, but hey, winning is winning, as they say. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. I got that deposit. It was super easy to make that initial deposit. hassle-free. Same goes for withdrawals, which is also a huge bonus and benefit when it comes to dealing with Prize Picks. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Oh, I forgot to do this, so I'm going to do this now. There you go. Don't forget, Prize Picks. All right, Dodgers with a 4-2 win over the Twins in Minnesota. Very comfortable win. Confident, dominant. They get that big inning with 2 home runs from Ohtani and from Outman, and the bullpen comes in and locks it down. But here's what I was frustrated with. Minnesota Twins have a new hat. What the hell was that? The Twins are a fairly iconic team, and their logo, the T with the C in the middle, one of the most iconic logos out there. I don't get it. Why would you go away from that logo? And then to rub it in even a little bit more, it's on the helmet. The TC is on the helmet. That's one of my favorite. This is where I become old school. I love old school uniforms. You know, like with the Twins used to do those bright blue uniforms with the red. Cardinals did it. Braves did it. Those are one of my favorite uniforms of all time. When they do the throwbacks for those, I just absolutely love it. But the TC with that dark blue helmet with the white triangle, and then the TC in the middle with the little red C, iconic. What is this M with a star above it? I don't know. It'd be like the Dodgers getting rid of the LA and putting just a L, right? Or putting the L and the A next to each other, or just something else, like the Yankees breaking up that intertwined thing. The fact that they are intertwined like that is old school iconic. You cannot get rid of that for an M with a star above it. What is that? That was terrible. I texted Sam, who is our producer here on Locked On Sports LA, the postcasts. He lives in Minnesota and covers the Twins. And he goes, it's funny that you say that. I'm on vacation right now with my wife's family, and our kid is wearing that hat, and the entire my in-laws are saying to me, what's up with that logo? Where'd the TC go? I cannot get past giving up that logo. I know it's probably an alternate because that's what they do these days. They throw it out. They wear it every now and then. And, then they come back to the traditional. Hopefully that's the case, that the TC is still out there. It's just really one of my favorites, right? I'm not a Minnesota Twins fan, but I would love to go to Target. Everyone says it's amazing. Minneapolis rather, is supposed to be an unbelievable city when it's not 30 below, but even when it is, they have these tunnels that go through town, the downtown area. And you can go from restaurant to restaurant, bar, whatever, and you don't even have to go outside. You walk out of your hotel, you get in the tunnel, you walk down the street, it's a tunnel. Everything's like in this tunnel, and you don't even have to go outside. So that's pretty cool. And I really want to go now that I have somebody there that I know, and Sam, our colleague that works with us here at Locked On. So I'm very excited to go there. And if I do go, I would probably end up getting a hat as a souvenir. I do that whenever I go to a stadium. I buy a hat. I have a Milwaukee hat. I have a Cubs hat. I have a Yankees hat. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't have a Yankees hat. And I've been to AT&T or whatever they call where the Giants play. Beautiful stadium. I did not buy a hat when I went to San Francisco, but if I went to Minnesota, I would definitely get a hat. And if they made me buy that M with the diamond above it, no, thank you. Give me old school TC. That is the way it should be. Rod Carew style with those powder blue uniforms. Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. Dodgers with a 4-2 win. James Outman, his first home run, according to Mr. Seabad, gets me off the hook. Now I can boast. I don't know about that, though. He looked terrible in those first 2 at bats. I was texting with his uncle, my buddy, and I was like, breaking out. And I feel like I'm partially responsible because we joke back and forth that every time I watch James hit, he doesn't do anything. I walk away, or it's a game that I'm not covering or not paying attention to. He goes off. Like last year, his rookie year, I didn't hardly see any of his home runs, or every time I would watch, which is considerably fewer games than I'm watching now because I'm watching almost every one of them this year for the postcast. But when I would watch, James would be like over 3 with a walk or something. I felt like I was jinxing him. And again, I feel like that every time I've watched a game this year. This is the first time I've seen him hit a ball hard. Well, no, he had that line drive that ended the game the other night. But I feel like it's his first hit that I've seen this year because he's only had like 5. So, yeah, he definitely launched that one, squared it up, and it was gone. So, but his first 2 at bats were just atrocious. K looking, and then the K in the 5th was ugly, just half-hearted check swing. So, sometimes it just takes that one hit, home run, whatever, to get you locked in, get you back on track. But I don't know. It's not like James has had a bunch of bad breaks. He just hasn't been swinging the ball or swinging the bat well. Unlike Ohtani, who has been swinging the bat well, absolutely locked in. Yes, indeed, Craig. He is locked in. 3 hits today. His 5th consecutive multi-hit game. The average well over 300, now at 345. Home run, RBI, 3 hits, 2 runs in 5 at bats, slugging 673, and the on-base percentage is 383. Freddie Freeman, 2 for 4 today. He's batting 348. Mookie had a hit and a run, walked once. He's batting 375. Will Smith, another hit. His average over 400. Muncy an 0 for day. Teoscar, who had a nice base hit on a 2-strike count, proving that he is a fantastic 2-strike hitter. Just the 1 hit. He's batting 280. Gavin Lux a hit, but continuing to struggle. 2 Ks for Lux. His average at 167. His slugging percentage is 194, and an on-base percentage of 211. So I was hoping Craig would share with me what the bottom of the lineup did today, because that seems to be your wheelhouse, Craig. But aside from the home run and the hit, so let's see here. Lux was 1 for 4. Outman 1 for 4, and Trammell 0 for. Chris Taylor 0 for. His average is almost disappearing down to 45. So 2 for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 for 12, the bottom of the lineup. Yes, the bottom of the lineup needs to pick it up. Gavin Lux playing great defense, but also just in a hell of a slump. Cannot square one up. His swing looks good, but he's not anywhere close to the ball, and striking out a ton. Like, it's so, I don't know what to say for these guys. Organization credit for keeping them in there and letting them work through this, right? Because they're fairly deep. They could find other guys. They could put Miguel Rojas in there more, but they're not. They're going to let Gavin Lux work through it. They're going to let James Outman work through it. They're going to let Chris Taylor work through it. I mean, those are veteran dudes. I don't know about Outman, but Lux and Taylor, veteran dudes. They're going to figure it out. And when this whole lineup gets going, it's going to be fantastic. But of course, when that happens, somebody else will go into a slump. That's just the nature of baseball, isn't it? When one guy gets hot, somebody else goes into a slump. But we hope they can keep it going and get to the playoffs where they're all hitting the ball and squaring it up. But it's still early in the season. Plenty of time to go, and they will figure it out. I have confidence that these guys are professional hitters, and they know what's going on and what's wrong, and it's just going to take some time. I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out. But I'm sure, maybe it's chicken bones, maybe it's one of those things. Dodgers with a 4-2 win, taking game 1 against the Twins at Target in Minnesota. We'll take our final break and come back and get into a little bit more about the pitching today, because beyond Paxton, it was very good, and that's also a very, very good feeling. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can listen to us wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. All right, today's show also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is a great app for finding tickets. I've used it a fair amount of times, and I have other ticket apps in my phone that I use. And when I started using Game Time, I was like, this is really, really good. One of the cool things I like about it is the one of the great places to find views from the seats. Not only do you get great deals, but you see exactly where your tickets are. So you don't have to worry about, well, is this a bad view? Is it too far down the line? Is it too high up? Whatever. Game Time gives you the view from the seat, and now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on Game Time actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. So if you want to run the risk, if you want to live life dangerously, the closer you get to the first pitch, the prices go down. Killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. Browse the app and find the prices. It's that simple. I was looking at Clipper tickets for Wednesday night. They're taking on the Phoenix Suns in a home and home. So tomorrow night in Phoenix, and then they're coming back to LA to face the Suns again. And they were like $31. So Clippers are hot right now, and that's a heck of a buy to go see a game at crypto.com. Pick out any specific game and the matchups that you'd love to attend. Talk about these are my cues as to what I'm supposed to tell you, not what I'm supposed to read. I love it when they do this. Like, oh, here, just talk about it firsthand. Okay, well, hold on a second. Time out. I'm gonna get my script, which I wrote with my own two hands, typing, and because over here I'm a little confused, and that's not what we need. So you can take the guesswork. Like I have right now with this spot. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. It's very simple. Create an account and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with the code Locked On, LOCKEDON, for your first $20 discount. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, view from your seat, low prices guaranteed. And it's not just for sports. It's for comedy. It's for concerts. It's for theater. There's lots going on at the Game Time app. Get it now and you'll save lots of money and be happy that you did. All right, there we go. Game Time. Used them many times and it's always worked out really well for me. Much better than that Reed did. Very happy. And the other thing that's cool, you don't have to worry about getting fakes. That's one of the cool things about Game Time is the tickets are real and legit. And you just have that little barcode and you walk up and you show them your phone and they go beep, beep, and you walk in, easy peasy. So good stuff there. Game Time. Sorry that was a little bumpy, but we got through it. I believe in them and I am a fan. I am a user, I guess you would say. Dodgers with a 4-2 win in Minnesota over the Twins. Mookie Betts with a hit. Shohei Ohtani with 3 hits. Freddie Freeman with 2 hits. Will Smith with a hit, batting .400. Max Muncy 0 for 2 walks, though, for Muncy. So that's nice. At least he didn't strike out a bunch. Teoscar struck out twice. Gavin Lux struck out twice. Rojas came in and he did not get an at bat. If he did, it doesn't, no at bat for him. Outman, the home run, his first of the season. He struck out 2 times in that game with 4 at bats, and Trammell was 0 for looking for his first hit. Chris Taylor 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He's batting .45. As far as the pitching for the Dodgers, again, Paxton looked very good. All of his breaking stuff, the cutter, the curveball, except for one, that home run to Manny Margot, I think he was on point. 4 Ks, 86 pitches, 1.64 with the ERA. Brazier came in, went 1 inning, zeros across the board with 1 K. Hudson also zeros across the board with 1 K, 19 pitches. Brazier had just 10 pitches, so that's a solid frame right there. And Evan Phillips was dealing. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we need in the postseason. Just that sort of wicked, late cut break at the plate. It's not just velocity, it's action. That's what I love about Evan Phillips. When he is on, his ball is moving all over the place. Very hard to square up. He was zeros across the board as well. 11 pitches. His ERA is 1.59. Hudson at 1.5 and Brazier at 1.5. So bullpen stuff to me is confidence building as we head into the season and as we look ahead and we think forward to what could be with this team when they get to the postseason. How important is pitching? Very, very, very important. So it feels like Paxton, the Big Maple, I think his nickname should be the Eagle Man. Did you see that video at the beginning of the game back in 2018 when they were in Minnesota and he was with the Seattle Mariners? They had that eagle fly across the field during the national anthem or at the beginning of the game. And the eagle thought for whatever reason that Paxton was his handler. So Paxton's sitting there and the eagle flies down and buzzes the tower and then flies back around and lands on his shoulder. And I got to say, Paxton was so cool about it. He kind of just flinched a little bit and let the eagle land on his shoulder. And then the eagle jumped off and was walking around on the ground. But that's got to be intimidating, right? When you see an eagle flying through the sky at those games, they look pretty big. Their wingspan has to be 6 to 8 feet, right? So when it's heading towards your head, it's got to be rather intimidating and a little scary. I'm going to look up eagle wingspan because I was saying like 6 to 8 feet. We'll see what it says. But if I'm Paxton, I'm running. He was like, I don't know. Should I run? What should I do? And ultimately he thought about it. And I guess Joe and Oro were telling the story. It wasn't coming directly from Paxton. But he was like, I'm just going to stand there and see what happens. And apparently that was the right call. I mean, I don't know if the eagle would have done any damage if he was running around. But it was just a funny story. So I think very easily his nickname could be the Eagle Man. And my computer is not letting me look up Eagle's wingspan. Anyway, back to the comments here. How do you say your name? Well, let me give it a shot here. Zubaydin. Yes. You pointed out a very good point there that I overlooked. The pitching performances did outdo the bad calls by the umpire. There were multiple strikes called that were at least on the box on the screen. They looked like they were 6 to 8 inches outside of the strike zone. That's the worst umpiring I've seen in a long time. As I've mentioned, I am a fan of robot umpires. I think it would be great for the game. We wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff. We wouldn't have to worry about an umpire getting upset, making a call to spite another team, which we've definitely seen before. It's got to happen at some point, right? It's the wave of the future. And people are like, well, how's that going to work? Well, they've done tests, they've practiced, they've tried it. They would have an umpire down there. Maybe he's not an umpire because they're all going to be upset and mad, but they would have a person down there, dressed like an umpire, and he would have an earpiece in, and it would happen instantaneously. You wouldn't even know. Much like you don't know now that the pitcher is getting a signal from the catcher in his ear or under his hat or whatever. As easy as that works, that's how it would work for the umpire and the robot umpire. So there would be no question mark. It is either a strike or it is not. That guy was just terrible. I mean, his calls were all over the place and multiple bad calls. So Zubaydin, very good point. Thank you for reminding me of that. He was all over the place. His strike zone was a mess. But the Dodger pitchers and the Twins pitchers, for that matter, really kind of overcame that. And I thought Ober was fantastic for them. And I feel sorry for Twins fans that Rocco Baldelli pulled him out of the game because some metric told him that it was time to pull him out of the game. So I guess they worked out good for the Dodgers and not so good for the Twins, who are still looking for their first home win there at Target. They're now 3-5 on the season and 0-3 at Target. As for the Dodgers, after the 4-2 win, They are 9-4 and 3-2 on the road. Paxton gets the win. He's now 2-0. A hold for Brazier and Hudson, and Evan Phillips gets the save. So a game that lasted about 2 hours and 20 minutes in this new day of baseball with the pitch clock was fantastic. I don't think you could ask for much more. We got a home run from Outman, which hopefully leads to him breaking out of a slump. And I think all we need other than that down the road is we need Gavin Lux to kind of find some life, and Chris Taylor. It'd be nice if they could both kind of do it at the same time, but I feel like Gavin Lux has more at bats and definitely plays more than Chris Taylor, so we need him to break out first. But I feel confident that he will, and it'll only be a matter of time before he starts squaring balls up because his swing is too pure and too sweet. Dodgers with a 4-2 win. Back at it again tomorrow in Minnesota at Target. Another early start at 4:30. I will be right here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. And you can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Thanks for joining me. Have a good night. We will talk again tomorrow after the Dodgers wrap things up in Minnesota against the Twins. Have a good night.